All right, folks, welcome to the Spiritual Formation for the Family podcast. We are in our week where we are trying to highlight some different nonprofits that are in Jacksonville, Texas, for us to be generous of. And so I'm with Pricilla Mandujano.
Yes.
All right.
Correct.
And Pricilla, you are the fairly new director of Hope,
Yes.
right?
So I'm the new executive director of Hope. I started in May, so it'll be 8 months.
Okay, cool. How you liking it?
I like it. We've had some challenges, but overall, the community loves Hope. It's been in Cherokee County and in Jacksonville for about 30 years. It has a great line of history, so I'm really enjoying learning about it as I'm growing the program, so it's been great.
Very cool. Well, so basically, Pricilla, we just kind of have two questions that we want to address that you already know. However the conversation goes, we can kind of steer direct, and I may have some follow-up questions and stuff like that. So number one, tell us, what does Hope do? And I know that you got your hands in all sorts of things. So I guess, maybe we're like the primary things, I guess, that Hope is built around to accomplish.
So Hope started with the Jacksonville Ministerial Alliance as an overflow of churches, of people needing help from the churches. And there was a couple. They came together and they decided to create Hope as just an overflow to help the churches. So then all the churches kind of went to Hope, sent maybe their congregation to Hope, and that's how it started. And over the years, it's just grown. So Hope stands for helping other people pursue enrichment. So that's where we have the pantry, the senior box program, the backpack program for the kids. We have case managing services to help. We meet with people to help them and connect them with resources in other areas of their life and really stand by them in hardship times. So that's what I've gathered so much about what Hope is, and that's kind of what I want to keep growing on, is being that step up for other people, really helping them pursue enrichment in their lives.
What would be like I don't know, I mean, I guess kind of, we can look at it in the microcosm level, like on a week. Like, so what would be the standard week look like for you guys? And then maybe even like drift into like, it's Christmas is coming right around the corner. What does the Christmas season look like? So what does just the standard week look like for you?
So on a daily basis, what we really deal with is people facing food insecurity. Okay. The population that we serve is your vulnerable population, your elderly, your disabled.
Gotcha.
Homeless. And then, of course, single moms.
Quick question on that real quick, and then we can come back. What does our homeless population look like in Jacksonville? I've talked to different people who have made very little of it. I've talked to people who've made very much of it. So like with your experience, what is the homeless population?
So I'm actually working on really trying to get like a percentage of a number of Cherokee County of what that really looks like. But just in the 8 months or so that I've been there, there is a homeless population in Jacksonville. It is increasing, but I can't, I'm still looking at the stats and the numbers, so I can't really put a number on it.
I'm sure it's probably pretty hard. I'm sure it's probably pretty hard to quantify in a community like ours, because you guys, to my knowledge, are y'all the only group in town that really does much for the homeless?
There's a couple other agencies. There's Sheltering Arms Coalition, but they gear towards veterans, and then the Highway 69. So the unique thing about Hope is that we're there Monday through Thursday. So so these other organizations, they make great impact as well, but Hope is consistently open throughout the week, so I think that's why we get a lot of the traffic of the homeless as well.
All right, so sorry for the interruption there. I just wanted to ask that. Well, you were talking about like the different people that y'all serve.
So on the daily, weekly basis, we serve people who are dealing with food insecurity, and that's, your elderly, your homeless, and then people who just happen to face a hardship situation in their life. So we have the food pantry, and we have our Kitchen of Hope, where we feed a hot meal Monday through Thursday, and we serve about 60 to 80 people a day.
That is incredible.
A day. When I first got there, I was like 80, and I've gone back there and I've counted and I've helped serve at times. And I mean, during the summer, we see an increase because kids are out of school. So we see moms come in with their 3 kids, their 4 kids. So during the summer, it does increase.
I went one time and helped with one of the meal preps that y'all did. It's really good food.
It's a full-on kitchen back there. We just
Yeah.
had our Thanksgiving meal there for the community.
How'd that go?
It was great. We served about 115.
Golly, that is awesome.
And
So
we
just
did
and that's just free of charge.
Yeah,
They're
that's just-
coming. Y'all are serving. No bait and switch. No, hey, what do you have to give us?
No.
That's awesome.
And it's really a community. It's one of the things that I've noticed when I get to, when I have time to walk around and just hang out with my workers and the people coming in. Not only do they come because they're hungry or they need food, but the community. Some of them live alone.
That's a good word. Yeah.
And some of them are homeless, right?
Yeah.
So they come in, and during this 1 hour, they don't have to be alone.
Right.
Maybe they don't talk to people or whatever, but they just, you have the sense of not being alone, and that's a better feeling than not, right?
Yeah, I mean, like how many people, I'm sure that the meal is a huge blessing. Like there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it, but how many people just need to be around people?
Yeah.
There's a book I recently purchased. I kind of got the synopsis of it from the author himself. I was at a conference, but it was a book called Made for People, and one of the things about it was he was just talking about like the loneliness epidemic in our country. So I didn't even think about that I'm glad that it seems like y'all have like really thought through the process here, because you're not just feeding the body necessarily. You are doing that, but you're feeding the mental and emotional needs of the people.
I think
as well,
so,
too.
and the more I go back there, I'm able, I can identify people now. I'm like, hey, how's it going, or good morning, or whatever it is, or how was your weekend? So, and some of these people who do come in, on a daily basis, they'll stay afterwards, and they'll mop the floors, and they'll sweep the floors. So I think that's incredible.
So we're doing something this holiday season, and folks that'll be listening to this, they already know about it. We call it the Central Christmas Store, and one of the things that we that we just kind of felt convicted of. Not that's not a good word. One of the things that we felt like, hey, we had some confidence in, I guess, or maybe there's conviction's a good word.
Led to
is that we would help people with Christmas gifts, but that they would essentially have a little bit of skin in the game. And one of our people, Jessica Downs, I'm not sure if you know Jessica, formerly Jessica Torres, but the new Jessica Downs. Well, heck, they've been married a long time now. Anyways, that's a side right there. She got in front of our church and she said that people don't want a hand out; they just want a hand. It was something all that. Has that been your experience, like in serving the needy of Jacksonville? Like, have you kind of seen the same?
Yeah, well, that is kind of my, I don't know, I wouldn't say mantra, but just like one of my things when I got there is like, these people are already kind of asking us, they kind of probably don't want to be here asking us for food or asking us for this. Let's give them dignity, right? Like, let's make them feel like they're coming to a place that looks good, it feels good. We're treating them like people. We're not treating them like the homeless. We're not treating them like the poor.
I like that.
So I'm real big on my staff and just the way we approach people and how we're fixing up Hope, just its appearance. I really want people to feel like they're not coming just for a handout, that they do matter and they're in this place and we're there to help them.
Yeah, okay. Cool. So you have the food aspect of it.
Yes.
Monday through Thursday.
Monday through Thursday.
A hot meal every day. What are some other things that you guys are involved in?
So the food pantry and people, which Central has been really, they've helped.
Yeah.
They've made a lot of donations for this as well, and the JISD schools, the elementaries, some high school students have this as a community project to have a food drive, like hand drive. So the people can come in once a month and get whatever's available to them based off of a grocery list, and they come in every month to get that. So that is a big resource for them.
Let me ask you a question. This is not even necessarily like a hope question. I'm just curious. How do you guys? I don't even know how to say this. I don't even know how to pose the question, because I guess that there is like a place that we can go with our helping to where we're no longer helping. We're just like we're almost hurting the situation. Like I think there's even a book called that, like When Helping Hurts or something along those lines.
So like enabling.
So how do y'all get to that? How do y'all get to that place where, like, when somebody comes in and they say, "Hey, I'm here for the food pantry," how do y'all know like how much to help with, how much to give?
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. So again, those are all my same questions, and when approaching Hope and our programs, I go in with those questions because again, when you think of Hope, helping others pursue enrichment, we want to be their step up. We don't want to hold them here.
Right.
And some.
That is a good word. You want to be their step up, not hold them here.
Yeah.
I like that.
We don't want to maintain them here in their poverty or in this phase of their lives. Some of them will be there, right, for disability reasons or other reasons. They're just. That's just what it is,
right.
you know. But for others, we really want to be that step up. So I pose myself those same questions when I'm working there and seeing. But we do have a system where we do track these people, where we can say, hey, you were here last month. On this day, you have to wait 2 more weeks or whatever it is to come back. Yeah. So we do have a software that we use. There is a grocery list based off their household people. Mm-hmm. So, you know, if it's just 2 people, they don't get as much as a family of 5 or so.
Okay. Yeah.
There is some criteria to the food pantry.
Yeah. So there's like some proportions that are like kind of given out. How do you, and again, I guess I'm more just like asking you because you probably deal with, I would imagine that a lot of people that are going to listen to this, and certainly a lot of people in our church, you know, they may serve with hope or they may want to help. But I mean, I'll go ahead and tell you, in the same Sunday, 2 different groups, the question was brought up of, okay, well, how do we know? Basically, the question I just kind of posed: how do we know when to say, okay, I'm no longer going to help? How do we know when to help? How do we know? Like that's, I think that's just a question that a lot of people have, and so like, you know, y'all have this software. And like nobody's looking at Hope and thinking like y'all aren't doing a great job. Everybody who would like investigate what Hope does would be like, man, y'all are killing it. Yeah. So I really feel like you are kind of an authority that can kind of speak to this. How do you feel when like that person comes in 2 weeks earlier and they're like, hey, well, I'm here for my groceries. Like, how does that? Do you feel like any shame, guilt, or do you just feel like no, like me giving them any more would be how was the word you just say? Like holding them down? Yeah,
maintaining them like in that level of their life.
I don't even know if that's a good question. That's just a lot of brain vomit out there. But I mean, like I guess, do you understand what I'm asking?
I understand what you're asking. So, you know, we do have your person who may come up and just be like, I have nothing at home, right? Like I have nothing to eat. And they might be a new person who just walked into Hope. And then you do have those people who come in 2 weeks early and you're just kind of like, really, you're here every day and you do this. So the way I kind of look at it, you know, if we start being lenient towards one, we have to be towards all the others. I really kind of try to stay to those standard rules of if you were here, it's once a month, you know, et cetera. But
that's
also,
equitable. That's good. Yeah.
I also feel like I'm just doing the Lord's work, right? So if they come in and they tell me that they need food, and they're able to get it, they're eligible to get it, I'm going to give it to them. And, you know, once they leave those doors, that's between them and God, and I've done my part. That's kind of how I feel. Because, you know, we do hear people say, you know, they got the help, and they went here and they went there, and it's possible and it's so, but when you start getting into those logistics, it can really maybe dim your light of helping or your passion to help. Yeah. But it does happen, and I always tell people when I talk about this subject, it's like, it's just the nature of the beast, right? Like, how do we really know? It's not going to
be perfect. Well, I like what you said. Like, you're being obedient to God, and we're not always going to know the outcome of that obedience. Sometimes we're obedient to God, and the outcome really sucks. You know? Like there's other people they factor into the scenario, and we do our part, but they don't do their part, and so it's just it's a bad situation, but we have to be obedient. I like that. I
just think you kind of have to have that perspective, or else you can really just be like a Debbie Downer for yourself and just think that you're kind of serving no purpose. But I mean, Hope really is needed. You know, people really do need it. I think of the alternative, like, well, where would all these people go if Hope wasn't here, you know? Right. And we don't give them all the time loads and loads of groceries. You know, it's just kind of based on our availability of our donations. And we do have partnerships with retail stores like Walmart, Dollar General, Bullard, that we get weekly donations from them as well, from these stores. And we have, I think, he might be from Central, I can't think of his name, but he goes to Walmart every day for us, and he brings
stuff? Mm-hmm. Cool. Man, that's awesome. So, okay, so those, would you say that in the course of your year, would those 2 areas be the biggest way that Hope is serving?
Yes, so serving like individually where people would be needed is our kitchen, right? Serving the community, and then they put them to work like washing dishes, and then our pantry, donations, food donations.
What would have been, y'all had y'all's big Thanksgiving dinner, and say I've got a family of 5. I've got obviously me and my wife, and then a 9-year-old daughter, 7-year-old daughter, 5-year-old daughter. How could we have helped with that Thanksgiving dinner, or is that not really the time to get plugged in and serve?
Yeah, and actually I learned, again, this is my first holiday season there at Hope, so I'm learning all of the things that are happening, but Super Gallo does something with the community. It's called Neighbors Helping Neighbors. I'm probably saying People Helping People or something like that, but he has Thanksgiving boxes.
Okay.
And they just had it, I think, the weekend before Thanksgiving, and they were out in their parking lot, and they had volunteers assemble the boxes, and then from another certain time you go and you pick them up.
Nice.
We
Okay.
met a little bit too late, but we're hoping to next year partner with them to be able to provide a Thanksgiving dinner, like for a family to cook.
Do y'all see organizations coming to Hope to be like, hey, how this is what we got going. Can y'all help us promote or stuff like that?
I'm seeing it a lot more, and I'm just kind of thankful because sometimes I'm just so busy. So these people just walk in, and I'm just like, yes, like they're willing to help, and we're willing to help, and we're all kind of have the same goal. And if somebody already is kind of doing it or heading it up, like let's just help make that successful.
Money. I'm assuming organizations like Hope, y'all are feeding a meal to 80 people every day. So I mean, like that costs money.
Yeah.
If somebody wanted to give, is there a monetary need?
Yes. So the kitchen gets their food to cook from our pantry donations, from our donations from Walmart and other. And yes, we have a budget that we buy items for the pantry and we buy items for our kitchen, but it all kind of ties in to feed the people.
Yes. Okay. Cool. All right. So basically, if I'm hearing you correctly, 2 major ways to serve with Hope. Number one, with your time. So with these meals, with the food pantry, you can volunteer in those areas, and then also just the monetary.
Yeah.
One of the things we've been talking to people about is like margins, like know your budget, and leave room for generosity, like whatever that may look like. And so, there's going to be some folks I hope that are listening that are like, hey, like I have those margins, and they can hone in like, hey, I have a passion for feeding. And okay, you used a term. What was the term that you kind of described the people that are maybe lacking food? You said
Food insecurity.
Food insecurity. I like that. That's a good term. I've never heard that.
Food insecurity.
Yeah.
So Hope, our mission, is to provide people with life necessities, and just in all of my training, people need their basic needs, right? Like water, a roof over your head, and food. Food is one of those needs. So without that, if that's missing from their lives, then you really just go into a whole other slur of things that we may not have time for,
Well, I mean, I'm sure, I don't know if this is where you were headed with that, but I mean, if you're lacking those things, people can resort to all sorts of things I'm just thinking about like my daughters. Like if at any point in time and I'm a Christian, I'm a minister with that too, but like if I got desperate, am I above stealing? Am I above, doing whatever I got to do to get my...
To feed your family.
Yeah, there's probably maybe some people listening like, he did not just say that. But I'm serious. Like if you think about it, like if you're desperate.
About like, everyone knows the term hangry, right? you get so hangry and you can't focus, and for example, our backpack program for JISD school district.
Okay, I was going to ask about that's y'all.
Yes.
Right? Okay.
Yes.
Keep going with that.
So if these kids didn't get fed before bed, the last meal they had was at school, which is 10:30, 11:30. It just gets earlier and earlier with the smaller kids. They go home, they don't have a meal, they sleep, and then that morning they come and they're acting crazy in class, or they're being troublesome. Maybe he just needs a snack.
Yeah,
right?
well, your body is like saying.
As adults, we need that. Like, hold on, I need a snack. Don't talk to me, right? This
That's
moment. So I really, I love that backpack program exists because even working in the other nonprofits I have, I know there is kids who are food insecure during the weekend.
Yeah.
Or in the evenings. So
we actually just heard about that program not too long ago. And I think Kim Arredondo, our children's minister, she's the one that got us onto that. I was like, that is a great thing that y'all do. So, okay, so let me just make sure I got this right, y'all basically put together backpacks with like care packages and get them into the hands directly of students.
Yes. So every Wednesday we have a group of volunteers and board members. They come to Hope and they assemble from 2 to 3.
Okay.
We provide them with 2 juices, 2 milks, so 2 breakfasts, and then 2 snacks. And that is to hold them over until Monday when they get back to school.
Okay.
So we assemble on Wednesday. We have a volunteer deliver to schools on Thursdays, and then the school puts them in kids' backpacks on Fridays.
How many of these packages are y'all?
129 a week.
Wow. Golly, that is crazy.
129 a week. We just added Nichols Intermediate. We were not doing Nichols, and Nichols counselor gave me a call and was like, why isn't Nichols a part of this? And I was like, this is how it's set up, but there's no reason, let's talk it, let's work it out. Can you identify how many students, you think would benefit from this program? And she called me back and said, I have 15 students who would severely, who will greatly benefit from this. So we have added Nichols now.
Man, that's crazy. You know what? That's just the ones that she knows about. I'm sure that there's a ton more. Okay, so I mean that's another way that people can save them.
So the backpack program, $100 gives us 20 backpacks. Will help us assemble 20 backpacks, and we serve 129 a week.
Okay, so y'all are needing $600, a little over $600 per week just to make that
per week.
happen.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what we do.
Golly, that's crazy. Okay, lots of need.
Yes.
Is there anything else that you want to throw out about what you guys do or ways that people can serve before
So
we close?
when we first started, you said something about partnerships, right?
Yeah,
Or how, so Hope used to have groups or programs where they would go into Hope and offer whatever service it was to the community. That is something that I would like to bring back. I think, COVID, people are still dealing with the aftermath of COVID.
What would that look like? Like on a hypothetical?
So we have our financial classes. I know they've done that in the past, like literacy, a Bible study, just other groups or programs, something small that people could maybe attend and it be handled at Hope or held at Hope.
Maybe you have processed this, maybe you haven't. If you could start 2 of those programs tomorrow, what 2 programs would it be? Like outside people with a certain set of skills, coming in and doing something like that.
Nutrition, cooking, right? What to cook, what's minimal items or certain items, and then I really think the financial. A lot of people come in, or literacy, they're older and they don't understand an application or they don't, so something like that.
So those 3 would, so nutrition, literacy, and then you said financial stuff. Okay, so if you're listening and you have skills in any of those 3 areas, boom, there's an open door for you. All right. Well, Pricilla, this has been great. So one of the things that we acknowledge as a church is that churches and nonprofits have unfortunately received bad reputations over the years because of bad financial stewardship, lack of accountability, stuff like that. What does y'all's leadership structure look like? If somebody was like, hey, I before I can give a penny to Hope, I got to know that they have this in place or whatever. So what kind of accountability structure, leadership structure do y'all have that could kind of help with that?
Also, we're rebuilding that and restructuring that, and my board has really been involved in getting all of our policies and procedures aligned, our financial policy in place, our financial statements and all of that good stuff in place, so we can show a donor, hey, this is what we did with your money, or if you specifically wanted your money for this is how we did that, or this is where we did that. So we're in a place to be able to do that for donors.
You're already in a great place because you have a board. There's accountability, right? That's one of those things that just leaders can get themselves in so much trouble. I'm so thankful for us here at Central because we have a multitude of leaders, and nearly there's some level of accountability over every step. So kudos to y'all.
Well, I sometimes I feel like I oversay or I overspeak, but in a place like that, when people are giving their money, they want to see the fruit of that.
Yeah, they do. So, they do, and I think that's great that y'all are willing to have that kind of transparency and vulnerability to anybody who'd be willing to check that stuff out.
Yeah.
All right. So money, time, volunteering. These are all ways that
Yeah.
people can plug in.
Yes.
And even if you have some skills, primarily, again, the nutrition, financial counseling. I
Yeah.
don't know if that would be a good
Yes,
word.
I
And
think
literacy.
so. Or meeting with people, just kind of meeting with them where they're at. They come in, and that's when really we can identify what their needs are. And as we're doing that and really restructuring programs and growing programs, we'll be able to fill in the blanks,
Okay.
fill in the gaps with those things.
Well, very good. I think you've
Yeah.
given us a lot to go off of, Pricilla. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Folks, and okay, I'm going to get the last. Mandujano.
Yes.
Pricilla Mandujano, Executive Director of Hope here in Jacksonville. We would hope that you guys would consider them as a worthy cause to put some of that margin money towards and some of that margin time and some of that margin relationships. So make sure that you give them a shout, give them a look. I don't know what, that just came out awkward. Go check out Hope.
Like us on Facebook. What do the kids say these days?
Yeah, like us on Facebook. Like, subscribe, all that stuff. All right, Pricilla, we appreciate you coming.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah.
Glad to be here.
All right, we'll see you.